Hi, guys. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hope you've all had a good day so far and worn your green. Today, we're looking at moving away from the foreign policy aspect that we talked about yesterday during our videos. And today, we're looking more at the domestic side of American government, specifically the problems that we're experiencing in American society at this point, having to do with the rampant corruption and the just overall awfulness of the Gilded Age in terms of honesty and integrity and character, with a few notable exceptions, as we talked about, such as Grover Cleveland and some of those others, and William McKinley. One of our themes for today, without a doubt, yesterday was A Push On. Today is going to be A Push Some More Reforms. A Push Some Reforms. So as we go through, perfect thing to discuss when we talk about the progressive movement. Let's look at the progressives here just a little bit. These are folks who are not revolutionary. We're going to find out that a lot of these folks are just middle class individuals. They are some of the white collar folks that work in banks. They are ministers. They are lawyers. These are people that we consider, again, by this time period to be fairly middle class, and they see a lot of problems going on in American society. And rather than try to root up all the evil of society, what they decide they're going to do is try to take American society and mold it in a much more positive, albeit progressive manner. They want to move society forward. They're looking, first of all, at an American society that's very different over the last 30 or 40 years. We're looking at an America where we've had rapid urban expansion and the problems and benefits that have come along with that as the cities have continued to grow. We're looking at rapid industrialization and the power of the trust. So you're looking at the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, the Vanderbilts, the JP Morgans. If you remember that clip we saw, the picture of the trust as they were sitting out on top of the Senate looking down on the little senators to show that kind of power. We're also looking at the rapid amount of immigration that's come into this country. Remember the new versus the old immigrants. The old immigrants being that 1830s, 1840s period where you had mostly Irish and Germans coming in, people that could either speak English or learned it quickly. Now we're starting to look, though, at individuals coming in from Southern and Eastern Europe, even the Far East and Asia, meaning the Japanese and the Chinese. But those Europeans you're looking at are going to be Polish. You're looking at Russians, Slovakians, Czechs, Italians, people that don't speak English, people that don't have that same cultural version that the Germans and the Irish did. These are people that aren't going to fit in as well. Maybe they're Roman Catholics, or maybe they're Orthodox Christians, or maybe they're Jewish individuals who don't, quote unquote, fit the mold of that traditional American society. These reform movements together are going to be what we call progressivism, trying to fix these problems. And again, these people are not revolutionaries. These are people that really, again, want to reform society, and they really find their spokesman with Teddy Roosevelt when he is made president in 1901 upon the assassination of William McKinley. The progressive era will last for a long time in American history. It'll go through basically three presidents, all of Teddy Roosevelt from basically 1901 to 1909, William Howard Taft from 1909 to 1913, and the first term of Woodrow Wilson from 1930 to 1917. Eventually, World War I will come along, and that will kill the progressive momentum as we go into more of the war footing and decide that there are other priorities that have to take place. As we talked about, the U.S. at this point in time is becoming a much more urbanized, industrialized country. It's very much more ethnically diverse than what we've had in the past. So there's a lot of rapid changes going on. Some of the stuff that these middle-class Americans are starting to see as problems, the power of the big business, they see those. They see a huge gap between the rich and the poor. They see constant strife between labor unions and capital, meaning the business owners. Think of the Homestead Steel Strike. Think of the Great Railroad Strike. Think of the Pullman Palace Car strikes. They also look at the political machines in the big cities. So the Boss Tweeds, the Tammany Halls. Remember, they go in and they do provide a little bit for immigrants, but what are they doing as well? They're greasing their own palms with money, and they're being able to lead to widespread corruption in the cities. If you recall Boss Tweed, when he landed the contract to build New York City Hall, he ended up escaping with several $1 million of public money. But the progressives were not all just white middle-class Americans. You also had some progressives that were African American. These folks are very concerned about the Jim Crow laws that are in American South that are still suppressing black voting and basically keeping black citizens as second-class citizens here in the American South. You also had women reformers. Women have had several opportunities, they feel, that have gone by where they could have had the opportunity to vote and earn that right to vote. Think about Abigail Adams. Remember the ladies when she wrote to President, or excuse me, not then President, but then Delegate John Adams. Think about the Seneca Falls reformers, the Elizabeth Cady Stantons, the Lucretia Motts, the Susan B. Anthonys. Think after the war is over, the Civil War, black men get the right to vote, but women are still left out of the equation. Even up to the founding of NAWSA in 1890, the Women's Suffrage Association, these are women that feel like this is now, again, another time for them to have the opportunity to get that right to vote. This is a very, as you know, diverse group of individuals. So you have a lot of middle class folks, but again, you're bringing in women, you're bringing in African Americans, you're bringing in some professional class individuals and some middle class individuals. And amongst all this diversity, one of the things that they all can seemingly agree on is that society basically stinks right now. We need to change it. We need to go in a more reform-minded method. This is badly, badly needed. And that the government is, in fact, the federal government and the state government is the instrument by which a lot of these changes can be made. And we'll get into more of the progressives here in just a minute in our next video.